Good morning, Minister. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Thank you. We have here 15 minutes, and I mean to be able to adhere to the schedule. And during these 15 minutes, I'm going to try and take you on a short journey in the decision-making of Israel. And my first question is to you as a minister in the Israeli government. Will you vote for Part B of the hostage deal, even with the price of stopping the war? I think that I never said what I'm going to vote for, not before the previous deal and not before the one before that. I always try to see the details all the way through. What I can tell you is that our loyalty to both goals of the war, and I do understand the complexity, is the essence. And I am having a bit of a hard time seeing this essence taking place without a war, despite the fact that what we can achieve with political processes is wonderful. It's great. We prefer doing that. We don't have a command of fighting, but with the reality taking place now, occurring in Gaza now, the sites we see, and if you security defense challenges, it's not something that we can shut an eye on. But I see on your clothing the hostage band that is worn by both by me and other people. Do you imagine the possibility of leaving dozens of living Israelis in the hands of Hamas, in the reality that you already know what they've been going through from the testimonies that came to us from the released hostages? I can't think. I always said, and I still am saying, that we need to know how to pay expensive value-based prices. We need to know how to do it in the right way, how to negotiate severely, and we need to know how to do it with creativity and even by craftsmanship. And I think we've been doing it better lately. We must be loyal to the two goals of the war. It's not only bringing back 10, 20 hostages or 30 hostages. It's about the value aspect that is very meaningful and great. And it's our solidarity, our mutual responsibility. Try to distill this from me, Minister. Try to distill what you're saying, because I think that there are people here, hundreds and thousands outside. We want to know what a minister in Israel says. We sometimes make mistakes. We go to considerations that are more mathematical, and sometimes mathematics is not right in the world of values. And when the operation was decided upon to release Nachshon Waxman, may he rest in peace, they did take into consideration that someone might be killed during his release. And it's not a mathematical question. It's our solidarity, it's our values, it's something much stronger than mathematics. And of course, it is right and true for wars. Despite that being said, I do think that there are two axes here that we are loyal to. And I'm not saying that just as a motto that we're loyal to these two axes, but sometimes it's hard to, and I'll say it as an example, it's sometimes hard to understand what are your stepping stones. You know the direction, but you don't know exactly what stone you're going to step. You know the direction, the general direction, and then you find your way as you go. And I think that the loyalty of Israel to these two goals is complete. It is complete. And God willing, we will do it. We need to pay attention to the fact of the strategic political change up in the north, in the south. The general change in the Iranian axis could really influence, and it does influence, not could. It really already is influencing the dynamics, the policy, the ability to perform things in a better manner, and add to that the change of the administration in the states when you can't divide between us and the states. And yet, you cannot yet, and God willing, in the future, you can't divide us and the states. We see the energy, we see the dynamics, but who decides? I mean, you mentioned the states. Okay, who decides? Is it Benjamin Netanyahu or Donald Trump? Who decides the policy of the government of Israel? We hear that Witkoff is now coming here, pushing the prime minister what decisions to make, both when it comes to the hostages. Let me just say something. First, I think that Witkoff is discussing things with the prime minister. As far as I know, he also discusses things with him in advance. As much as I know, the proposals were made by the PM, and the fact that Witkoff is helping us doing things in a manner. So you think Netanyahu wants the deal? I always said that people sat with me behind closed doors, and I said quite a lot with the parents of the female soldiers, and I think that once the move is right, that the PM will make it happen, and I think that this is what has happened, and this will also what happened if this is what I'm understanding from what you're saying. I'm reading between the lines. What I'm saying is that I'm taking into consideration that our enemies are listening to us, and I want to tell you this: we will perform both goals. We will do it. We're determined, and it's hard for me to see it happen without us continuing the war. The war is not the goal, but we must be obliged to the security, to the defense. But let me ask you this. You've been waging war as a government for 16 months. What will you gain? What is still possible to gain that you haven't been able to gain for 16 months? You know, this kind of questions have been asked for a whole year now. Were we able to respond correctly? And we can always do things better. And with all the sorrow for what we haven't done, there's a great sorrow for the people who unfortunately passed or was murdered during this past year. But things have happened and there are achievements. No, I'm asking you seriously, on the tactic level, you want to bring back soldiers into Gaza? What we need to gain, we need Gaza clear of Hamas administration. We need Gaza de-armed, de-weaponized. Why haven't you been able to do it thus far? Anyone thinks that there's an easy solution here? Anyone thinks it's easy to perform it? I mean, Trump is now arriving with a great drive, a great vision, and he's challenging everyone. But let me ask you this. You are... So you used to serve as an officer and as a past officer in the IDF. What do you think that a great, powerful IDF didn't do for 16 months could be done now? And the IDF didn't do it yet. Why didn't do it yet? Why didn't you, the politicians, tell IDF to bring the complete victory? I mean, I used to be the commander of one of the previous speakers here, and during the previous operations, and after them, we had 2 years that were very difficult, 3 very difficult years after the last operation, that we worked so hard, and now going in there and work differently and in a creative manner, not because it was the right thing to do it before, but because now we can do it differently. This is something that now we can do, and we can manage and get to new achievements. We can deepen the achievements. We should do that, because otherwise we're not able to uphold anything in the Gaza envelope or any daily life. And I can't even tell you what will happen to Israel internationally. We're a strong state. We're a strong army. It's true, we are challenged. We have our internal challenges, our other challenges as well. But at the end of the day, Israel is a brand. It's a brand for just of the path. It's a just for craftsmanship, of creativity. And this is something that we must bring, and that we will do so. Can I ask you a yes or no question? Short questions. You could try. I don't know if we'll manage. Let's try it. So Israeli settlements is in Gaza, yes or no? I'm stealing some extra time here. Yes. Okay, it's the filibuster. So, annexing Gaza and Jewish settlements in Gaza, pro or con? I think we need to work in a consensus. I said pro or con, didn't I? Yes or no? I am pro consensual actions, consensus. So you mean that most of the public agrees to? I am pro to consensus. So you're against. I'm for consensus. Arab transfer from Gaza to different places, including Luxembourg. I think that encouraging of immigration is something positive. It will happen? You think it will happen? Listen, when Trump says it will happen, I must help and empower that, because if it's not happening now, when will it happen? Could it change the reality? It could. Can I evaluate 5-10% part of this process? Even 5 or 10% of part of this process is meaningful. Okay, annexing Judea and Samaria, it's an opportunity. We're back to the previous answer. I said consensus. I am pro-consensus. I think the next government of Israel should be a bit broader than the present one. I think that many things that we will do in consensus will be stronger, will be more meaningful. And I said these things before October 7th, and I'm still saying them now. I just want to ask you that for the next question, don't say consensus. Give me a different answer. Going back to the judiciary overhaul, yes or no? I don't accept this terminology of overhaul. I'll tell you what I said. the night before October 7th, in the news interview, and a couple of days before, a week before that, in another interview, is that I said we should stop this legislation. We should declare a year of solidarity. And the interviewer said, "What if no?" And I said, "I will not be in the cabinet, but I am concerned because." So you're saying that now Yariv Levin, the Minister of Justice, going back to that is a mistake. I think we must bring a real change in the judiciary system. I think that there is a great majority in Israel, including in the Knesset, that understand these changes. And I think that we should do it now. Now, is it possible to do it in a matter-of-factly way, in a good way? Yes. When politics in Israel looks better, and it will look better, we will also be able to do it in a better way. When the Prime Minister and the Minister of Justice, it's very difficult to work in a matter-of-factly when you're a clerk, when you're a professional. Okay, I used to be an IDF officer and commander, so you have to adhere to what you were told, to the commands. Same when you are the general attorney, you need to do what the government says. If it's hard, you need to stop. Are you going to fire the general attorney? Are you going to fire the general attorney? If she decides to quit because it's hard for her, the answer is yes. If I vote for firing her, it's a yes. Yes, you will also vote for firing the head of the Shin Bet. I think that first, each one of us at the time, everyone who had a ministerial position and anyone who had a defense security position will eventually have to take upon them responsibility, including the PM, including everyone, including anyone who ever had a position, including telling the public, make a choice. Even if it's about saying, yes, I did my job. I'm not just saying these things. I'm saying that during the past 18 months, the continuity of position is important when it comes to the mega strategic military aspects that we all deal with, and we all know this. This mega strategic is something we're able to finish soon, and I'm telling you honestly, there are very significant dramatic events here. The public will judge at the day. Mega committee, the national committee, in this concept might get the trust and create all these inquiries that we need to talk about. There are many heavy issues when it comes to trust. Let me tell you, now the Judge Amit specifically with all of his appointment process and all of the discussion amongst the public about it, it should have been that there is a trust, the right trust from all of the public, because truly an inquiry committee should create true change in the state of Israel. You prefer a political inquiry. No, that's not what I said. I prefer a national inquiry committee with a great consensus. I think that two people such as Yisrael Shai and Dadi Simchi, is an idea, should promote something like that, could promote it. It could also be Ofir Sofer and Gadi Eisenkot. It could also be Benny Gantz and Itamar Ben-Gvir, let's say. Okay, one more question. If I could still, one extra minute. The fact that the PM, the chairman of the Knesset, the Minister of Justice are all choosing to be absent from a national ceremony of swearing in, inaugurating the president of the High Court, and I'm telling you, with all my honor to you, is it the right thing to do? And thank you, sir. Every person has a different job. He's responsible for asking. I'm responsible for giving an answer. I think that this testifies to how deep are things that we need to fix and repair, and the responsibility for the reality. No, try to be a bit sharper about this. Did you agree with this move that was very, very extreme? It was very difficult for me about things that came out about the president of the High Court and about the way people treated it. And I'm telling you that as public figures, we need to be completely clean to the public and to God. And the meaning of being clean in the eyes of the people, it has a meaning. And breaking all the system in Israel, is that the right thing? No, let me tell you that in my daily discussions at home, in my family, we talk about this. When my children want this or that, when my wife wants this or that, I always take into account, I don't say, I'm trying, I'm making an effort. And this is something that should be upheld by us. And when we say, and when we ask, we try not to speak from a position. I answer the question. There's a reality that it's hard to make a decision. And if I say yes or no, it's a problematic event. Yes. The president of the High Court, should he have acted differently? Yes. He should have not run. And the chairman of the Knesset and the Minister of Justice, did they act correctly? I think that all of this behavior should have been more correct. And I try yes or no. Thank you. Am I the Minister of Justice? Am I the Minister of Justice? You're sitting next to him in the table, if I'm not quite mistaken. Yes, so last question. You're a public minister. Do you think that you've rehabilitated the North and South well? No. You failed? There's a consensus from the crowd yelling no, I think. Yes, I think we should do it much, much better. The crowd is yelling yes, they failed. I think we should have done it much better. I think that the North has never, and I'm saying it as someone who lives in the North, has never really been given a true plan for development of the North, and I think that now we have the opportunity, and unfortunately I'm not seeing this happening. And I think that in the South there was a good work being done, led by Moshe Edri. It was a great job. The relay was not as good, but I hope that now Minister Elkin, and I believe in him because he's a great man, and I hope he will take things to the right places. He surely needs to create a change. Okay, easy question to finish. The law of drafting the ultra-Orthodox. I think that the fact that we finished 2024 without drafting them, we failed. And this to you, 2025, is it the year where you will be voting for the drafts law, or will you promote the law against it? I will only vote for something that I agree with, and if I'm not content with the law, I will definitely consider whether I continue to being a member of the government. I don't mean in the coalition, but I will definitely consider. Interesting. Minister Sofer, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for being here.